the biggest of games, the mountain himself, HeRoMaRinE.
In the bottom right side, a Russian Protoss. He's wearing the blue colors. He's teamless, KingCobra. Already a sneaky little pylon going up there, I see.
Yeah, but the probe's gone. So Schrodinger has been summoned in this game. And I think this is just to confuse HeRoMaRinE because, again, KingCobra is famous for his shenanigans. He does not play a standard game of StarCraft. In fact, his styles might be a little bit bigger. His styles might be even a little bit stranger than SOS. Channeling that Eastern European, you know, the Zerg style of I'm going to put my hatcheries in my opponent's bases. And yeah, KingCobra is a Protoss player, but that just means he has more funky tools in his toolbox of tricks.
HeRoMaRinE expansion on the high ground. Doesn't look like he, well, you know, a little bit more careful, I suppose, as you would be against other players, but it's not going out of his way here to do something extremely different. Gets the scouts, sees the Nexus. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, the lack of a pylon might cause a little bit of consternation, but HeRoMaRinE, he's opening up on the high ground anyways. He is the absolute favorite in this matchup, so it makes sense. Don't lose to a max backs build. Don't lose to kind of the parting implementation of the, you know, the double gate cyber, but one is proxied idea. Just make sure you're fine. Make sure you're dandy. Make sure your base doesn't get delayed. Yeah, it's gonna slow down your economy just a little bit, but when you are the odds-on favorite, and you know, I didn't see what the prediction level is, but it's probably like 90-10. Just keep yourself safe. Put yourself in the mid game. Put yourself where you're strong.
Yeah, for sure. Just carry your way through to that later part, and the more time is going to continue onwards from that moment onwards. You'll just have more opportunities to get your skill to shine through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Switch over the barracks. We're still producing Marines, checking to see whether or not he's planning to get that starport on the tech lab here, or just get himself the medevac.
It's also interesting.
There's a lot more Terrans, right? Just running out with the 6 initial Marines and try to just gun down as many probes as possible.
Yeah, this is something I really associate with Clem, where it really in TVT, but in every match where he's like, yeah, I got 6 Marines. I got maybe a Cyclone. I got some fun stuff. I'm just going to run on over. These in most games, these Marines are probably not going to make that big of a difference anyways, but maybe I can find some value. Maybe I can put some pressure onto KingCobra. But there's a shield battery. They're 2 adepts. It's not really going to be all that impactful. And KingCobra, for his part, he is going for Phoenix play in this game, which, honestly, I tend to like that, especially if it is, say, like Charge-Let Phoenix or something like Zest has been really playing a lot of at the start of the year. Because that's just a really strong ground-pounding army. It means that you don't really have to worry about tanks all that much. It doesn't require a lot of execution cost. It's not, say, you know, Blinkstalker or Disruptor, where it really just require a lot of of mechanical skill. Just really requires more game sense and positioning and all that fun stuff, because you're not really microing charge lots once they're charging in, for example. So maybe that might help KingCobra make up a little bit. Oh, a little bit of friendly fire. Make up for a little bit of the perceived skill imbalance that we have in this matchup here. And okay, Immortal coming down, so it's gonna be Immortal Phoenix. It's kind of a PvP build.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna work out pretty fine against what HeRoMaRinE is bringing here. The Cyclone lifting that up, or the Siege Tank on its own, chasing off the medevac. All things that are very accomplishable with the amount of Phoenixes he has, and the relatively low amount of Marines here, who do not have Stimpack, or any upgrade, of course. Keep that in mind. It's going to take a long time for them to really do damage against those Phoenix. And yeah, look at this. This entire squadron of Terran, very likely to just be destroyed right now.
Yeah, this army is dead. Anything that tries to siege up will go down. We're going to the Phoenix here. They're going to lift everything up. I wish they'd lifted the tank. I mean, I get lifting Marines, because that minimizes your damage you're taking. But there we go. The tank's getting lifted. Tank will go down for the cost of 1 or 2 Phoenix. KingCobra is going to kill off every single bit of this Terran army. And he's not going to be unhappy with that one. That is Okay, now we know what KingCobra playing. That's a great move. Okay, +3, or excuse me, third base underway, but the big thing, we have +1 air attack coming on in here for these 3 Phoenix that exist, as we have Colossus as well. It's a KingCobra build, folks. Strap in, buckle up, because this is going to be interesting, to say the least.
Get the popcorn popping in the microwave. It's it's about to get pretty interesting here, because that was a very convincing hold about 2 times now for KingCobra. I really do think that he's just kind of looked at HeRoMaRinE. What does he do in the regular opening? You know, he's one of those players that likes to stick to one strategy, and that's the best strategy, and then just execute it to the fullest extent. KingCobra, he was just ready for him, right? Had that shield battery up, and then the follow-up attack he was just ready for as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, okay, we have 1 Colossus done. Now we're going into Disruptors as there's a Fleet Beacon second Stargate. Are you excited for some carrier play, my friend, Kozan? Excited for them to arrive?
It's not off of 2 base, but you know what? We'll just make it. We'll make it work. Right? I guess KingCobra is gonna make it work, of course. Yeah. Getting the disruptors as well. I mean, this is if he is allowed to get himself into this army before HeRoMaRinE really picks up the trail, that could be a lot of trouble. HeRoMaRinE back in his own base, feeling a little bit uncomfortable, I imagine, after both attempts of aggression failing that horribly. You know, are you willing to move out anytime soon here as HeRoMaRinE? I don't know.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of missile turrets here too, just kind of relying on the reputation that is KingCobra. He saw the Phoenix. He's like, okay, there are Phoenix here, which means there are going to be other Stargate units here. I know how this works. I was not born yesterday. I'm no spring chicken, or summer chicken for that matter. I'm not exactly sure what an old chicken is if spring chicken is a young chicken. Anyway, because right now a spring chicken would be old because spring was a long time ago. Anyways, that is really a useless tangent. And HeRoMaRinE, he's moving out on the map at this point. He's got a big army. He's got a lot of tanks here.
Yeah, it is quite an intimidating force. Let's see if these disruptors are gonna have anything to say about that. I don't think we've had a scanner right on top of them. Well, he knows about them now. There's the first shot. It's not gonna get much. 2 Marines. Disruptors can hit those siege tanks, of course, outside of their range. If they just barely manage to not get shot.
So now we're going to have to see whether the single Colossus, triple Disruptor, 2 Carrier, 4 Phoenix hold is going to work on out here. This really does feel like the box art from Legacy of the Void, or like from a StarCraft game. You know, like, all the Protoss units, and there's some structures too. Isn't that fun? But we are starting to see the tanks get target fired on down. Vikings are starting to die. HeRoMaRine's not really finding the value that he's looking for. He's picking up into Phoenix that do have +1. So 1 medevac will get target fired down, but now, hey, the bio here, and they're going to stim on up. So that's going to be a couple dead Phoenix, but that is buying enough time, maybe, for KingCobra to find his way back on in defensively on into the main base. There's a lot less anti-air now that all the Phoenix have gone down.
Let's pick up. There's another attack brewing on the left side as this is opened up right now. The entirety of KingCobra's army left this area, and as we can see, this attack finally doing something here, and it's doing quite a bit. Oh, all the medevacs got taken out. They were just sticking around there. Thought they would have a clear way out towards the north, but they got themselves in a bit of trouble there with with the carriers, and that is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate here in that the units lost, or the battle oversight, or the battle report mod. It doesn't really show how many Marines died inside the medevacs. It's like I said, yeah, 4 medevacs died, but only 9 Marines died in the last 30 seconds. I'm like, no. HeRoMaRinE, he dropped 50 supply. I'm pretty sure more than 9 Marines died. I don't know, Kozan. That may just be maybe wrong in that.
Should be the case. Should be. Well, I mean, the computer is telling us, and I don't like to argue with computers, but you might be right. You might be right.
Yeah, it's the old saying, you know, if you're writing code and the computer doesn't do what you want it to do, the computer isn't doing what you're telling it to do. You're just not telling it how to do the right thing. Yeah, exactly. The computer is doing exactly what you were telling it to do. Your just instructions are wrong. Now we got a big siege up.
True.
Yeah, big siege up here coming on in. Disruptors just trying to zone out the bio to allow these carriers to fight, but so many interceptors are falling down immediately. That is a lot of stim bio here, and it's only +1 carriers. The Vikings doing a pretty good job. They will knock 1 carrier down maybe, But again, do carriers really matter if all the interceptors are dead, Kozan?
Not really, and those Marines, they are still looking pretty fresh. Only 2 medevacs with them, but been keeping the stimming to a minimum. So it's still looking pretty sharp. More units coming in, even bringing in the Thors. And the Thors, a little bit of a last kind of extra kick to those carriers here.
Yeah, Thors are, you turn them into high impact payload mode, and their range and their damage is really ludicrous. It's going to make it so hard for these carriers to survive. But those disruptor shots, they're going to get a tank rather easily. And I mean, really, it is these disruptors that is allowing these carriers to exist. It's just so hard for HeRoMaRinE to really stim on top of them, making anything happen. But okay, Thor's actually not even in high impact payload mode. They're just knocking down all the interceptors. And that's valid too, I guess, because we have like 8 interceptors on the field right now. Yeah, the answer is only 6. The 4th base still getting denied here. KingCobra, he's down a base, although, okay, he's not even going to get that tank. HeRoMaRinE.
Yeah.
He's at 50 supply. He's kind of rolling in this game, number 1.
I like how HeRoMaRinE is doing this with the tanks a little bit in the forefront. You know, the disruptors kind of want to take out the Marines and the Thors here, really, and then you can have the carriers take out the rest. But yeah, HeRoMaRinE just not really allowing for that, right? If you have those siege tanks in front, those disruptors aren't going to get close, and if you do send those carriers out a bit further forwards, then the Marines will be able to engage. But maybe a little bit of a mix-up, perhaps, right? Because you want to have those Marines come forwards and then send out his disruptor shots. But
yeah, that is a supremely valuable tank, by the way. It has exactly 1 HP left. Okay, there it is. It's going to go down now. But you know what? It got 4 kills for 1 HP, and I think HeRoMaRiNE's going to be pretty happy with that one as we have the fight kicking off in earnest here. Disruptor shots on Thors are really going to absolutely shred them. And these carriers, I mean, the interceptor count is still somewhat high, still 32 interceptors, but now the Marines are getting on top of things. Disruptor, I think that is the last shot that's available, as now there we go. The bio getting on top of things here. Is the split going to be good enough? The disruptor shot is actually going to be very nice, but the second one is going to be not nearly as good. Now the interceptor count is at 4. The bio can look to stim on in. One more shot for glory.
Oh.
And it's, okay.
Not what I was expecting, but I mean, one single disruptor shot could end it all still here for HeRoMaRiNE, to be fair. Doesn't want to let that happen. Okay, doesn't let that happen. And well played.
There we go, GG. Kozan, the carriers are fantastic units. They're less fantastic if they don't have any interceptors. They're just kind of shields at that point. Yeah. It's,
yeah, imagine a Brood Lord without, you know, Broodlings, right? It just won't do anything. That's kind of the case there. They never run out, so I don't know. I guess the carriers will have to talk to the Brood Lords there about that technology and try to get that rolling for themselves, but until now, I mean, you can just have those Marines, of course, shooting away at the interceptors. If you do it well enough, at a long enough distance, you don't get blasted by the Colossi and the disruptors at the same time, then you can actually trade pretty well against those interceptors and take out the carriers before they ever become a real problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, if the game was not crazy enough here, Kozan, did you see what map we're in for map number 2?
Yeah, I'm seeing it, but I don't think, you know, well, we'll just see. How did this get in here? Do we know? Do we know the vetoes?
I don't. I do, however, assume that this is KingCobra's map because Gabe has got to be the top seed, and I believe top seed picks map first. So I believe this is Cobra's map, and he tried to do the through 2-3 base carry. It didn't really work. Gabe said, yes, I have Marines. I'm going to kill all your interceptors. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
But what does KingCobra have in store for us in this second game? This is it's going to be a little bit interesting here, Kozan.
Definitely.
But you know what? We're going to find out. Because, of course, we have our game 2. It's here. It's ready. Let's do it. In the bottom left here. In the readies up 1-0 in this series on the shortest map in the pool from House Sports. Give it up for the biggest game, HeRoMaRiNE.
Top right side, his opponents making things wild, but not wild enough, apparently. It's the blue Protoss player. Teamless right now. Hailing from Russia, KingCobra. What do you think about this idea, right? Why Beckett Industries? If you are KingCobra and you're not vetoing it, are you hoping that because every single Protoss ever vetoes this map, that HeRoMaRinE just doesn't have that much practice on it?
Did you catch the timer? An answer to this question goes in. Did you catch what supply that the pylon was taken at?
No.
I believe it was an 11 pylon, and certainly we have double gas here, which means one thing. Well, two things, but really means one thing and one thing only. We're gonna have proxy voids, or maybe proxy robo. This is a little bit far back for your traditional proxy void setup. But whatever it is, it's gonna be a proxy tech building of some sort here. And you know what? I actually don't like this. Yes, proxies, all sorts of shenanigans, things like that. They can be more effective on shorter maps because you get to your proxy positions faster. That being said, proxy robo, proxy Stargate is gated behind a cybercore that you really can't speed up all that much. And with how short this is, I mean, look how quickly Gabe is gonna get a scout off. He's gonna say, hey, double gas, I see the gate timing, I see the cybercore timing. I know you're up to something. Especially seeing that Zealot come on out here. Gabe knows everything that he needs to at this point. There is no natural coming on down. He still will be the Stargate play, but we already have a factory coming on out here. Gabe is going to have everything that he needs to make sure that he just slaps this one aside.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering what HeRoMaRiNE's response will be to the Stargates here. Sometimes we see the Cyclones. Some people like to go for more of the missile turrets or just straight up into Vikings, right? A couple of ways you can do it. Wondering what HeRoMaRiNE sees as the best way.
Well, what I will say is that the Marine on the low ground was not a HeRoMaRiNE. Losing his life like that, very unfortunate. But
yeah, step in the wrong way.
You know, some might say that there's no wrong way to play a game of StarCraft. I would disagree. But certainly here we do have these Marines on the high ground. HeRoMaRiNE wishes he had 4 because that'd be a full bunker already. But at this point, KingCobra just putting a little bit of damage here on the supply depots, trying to prevent this bunker from going up as much as he can. And yeah, HeRoMaRiNE, he's going to go for the factory defense, the Cyclone Magfield Accelerator, knocking down these voids. And I mean, we don't even have our Magfield Accelerator is a third of the way done, and the first void ray isn't even here yet.
Very interesting. It's going to be a bit more of a mix than just the void rays here, that's for sure. Seeing another gateway go down. The bunker is here. With these gateway units, is that might be actually beneficial with going up against these Cyclones, because it's just less valuable targets to lock onto trying to take down. Then again, those gateway units, they might be a bit more bumpy and clumpy, trying to move back and forth. And the Cyclone might just pick off more units overall.
Is that a gateway that is next to the Stargate?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait, there.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
So this is 3-gate void, and this is very, very all in from KingCobra now. But also, we've seen different variants of this. Sometimes you see players go proxy void into Blink Stalkers, something like that. Sometimes they go proxy void and they get a couple Phoenix for the lifts. This is a very committed one. And the idea is the voids, I think in the way this one works, is the voids are just there to knock down the supply depot and make it very difficult for HeRoMaRiNE to just deal with all the pressure coming out on all points, because the depths, they shade into mineral lines, HeRoMaRiNE's not mining, things become problematic. But with this bunker here, and already with 3 Cyclones and Magfield Accelerator done, it is very difficult indeed for the void rays to really make anything happen. But that is an exposed supply depot in the extreme. So Cyclones, they can't get their lock on it, especially with the repair there. So now we do have things getting open just a little bit. Cyclones are really struggling to get their lock-ons, but there we go. And look how much there. Nope, there we go. We'll run out of room. But yeah, Magfield Accelerator against Cyclones. Please, Kozan, tell me, how scary is that?
They definitely do a lot of damage, and in these moments, but I mean, you need to get those locks on, and you need to get them as quickly as possible. Otherwise, it's just not going to help you out. These dabs, let's see how well they are for the Cyclones, 2-shotting them so far. The void rays are coming in as well. That's still a lot of Marines, though. Without the shield battery support, it seems like KingCobra just doesn't have the forces.
Yeah, I mean, it is 3 gateways, so that there is that, and the depths will continue to shade on in here. But getting 2 Cyclones is very nice. Cyclones are expensive; they cost as much as a tank. That being said, we didn't see any workers go down. The army here from HeRoMaRinE is not getting that much smaller. It is, but actually, no, I'm sorry. He is he has been supply blocked and has been for a while. So I'm like, why don't we have any more Cyclones? But yeah, no, he has not been able to reproduce anymore. So this Cyclone that has just gone down is the last one that he's going to have. And with more and more shield batteries getting warped on in, more and more adepts getting made as well. I mean, this is starting to become a problem here for HeRoMaRiNE. That supply block really, really caused a problem for him.
Yeah, he has the Vikings now instead of the Cyclones, and I think the Vikings are just superior in dealing with these Void Rays. They can kite them, they can run backwards, and you can actually pressure. Oh, well, don't want to lose them, of course, but you can actually a little bit easier to pressure the Void Rays as they're trying to run away. I feel like.
Yeah, the issue though is, I mean, one Cyclone is probably worth more than one Viking, as we will see a Void Ray. There we go. We'll go down here. Just in terms of, you know, production value, especially with Magfield Accelerator, but we don't really have a reactor on this starport because HeRoMaRiNE is just trying to go get stuff as fast as he can, right? He needs to make sure that he doesn't die, so he needs Vikings out ASAP. That being said, the Viking production speed is just not nearly as fast as HeRoMaRiNE would like it to be. But of course, at this point, equal army supply. This SimCity is very nice. It's going to make it very difficult for any sort of ground army to find their way on in. And HeRoMaRiNE, he's still aware of the fact that there is no natural. This is all in from KingCobra in the extreme. And HeRoMaRiNE, he's got his natural done now. It's in the main base, sure, but he's able to produce SCVs off that when he has the time. He's able to double mule, which, you know, funnily enough, may cause a problem at the end of the day if he does manage to mule out his main base. But there we go. We have the adepts. They're going to find their way on in, but there's a bunker, there's a tank. They're not going to do anything. And what is KingCobra's end game, right? Because it's not like he's really building up to the point where he can break HeRoMaRiNE. In fact, it's getting easier and easier for HeRoMaRiNE to hold as the game goes on.
Yeah, without an expansion here, I think he's just hoping that HeRoMaRiNE is going to try to attack him, and if not, well, I guess here we go. He's going to try to attack himself. Is this going to be enough to... no, I don't... Well, no. Right? I mean, no.
Yeah, it's like, you're like, this is almost enough here, and that 7 SCVs will go down, but that only equalizes the work again at this point. There's enough stuff on the ground here at this point. All of the Void Rays are dead. Nice hot pick up there on the Cyclone to keep that one alive. The entire army of KingCobra is dead. It's gone. It's in the grave. And now HeRoMaRiNE, it's time for him to break out here just a little bit. There are Stalkers getting warped in, of course, but the Cyclones are doing tremendous value despite that shield batteries running out of energy. Stalkers get target fired on down. GG, the biggest of games, takes the biggest of wins.